Today's video is sponsored by Tal Aura. Alright guys, so it is that time of year where I do start to do all my top 5, top 10 lists, but I kind of figured it's probably just better to do one video that really just says what my favorite audio products are, basically in kind of like categories, like what's my favorite headphones, wireless headphones, earbuds, clip-on earbuds, desktop amps, portable amps. There's so many different categories, and so I really wanted to talk about the products that came out this year that are ones that I actually use, ones that I would recommend to anybody, and this is definitely not going to be reviews on each of these. This is just going to be like, just basically listing what the product is and kind of talking about how it's useful to me. So keep that in mind. These are ones that I think are the best. These are the ones that I've tested, which I obviously do not get to test every product that comes out every year. So I am curious if you guys have any recommendations or anything that I should check out. Definitely let me know in the comment section below. But before we go ahead and get into this list, I do want to talk about today's sponsor, which is Tal Aura. And more specifically, we're going to talk about the Tal Aura Halo G1 Open Earbuds. These are currently on sale for $89, and this is easily one of the most comfortable clip-on style earbuds that I've tested. It's definitely light because it only comes in weighing 5.2 grams. They use a fairly large 13.4 millimeter dynamic driver, which mainly is aimed at a balanced sound. So it's not going for like that necessarily consumer friendly tuning, and it's made to where you can hear a lot of details. And the other surprising thing is, on top of the clarity, is the nice little punch that they have. So it can be a very fun earbud to listen to. They're also using 4 beamforming mics, so if you're going to use them for phone calls, it does a really good job of just making sure it's picking up your voice and nothing else. And it's also made to last all day because the battery life on these will get you 7 hours on the earbuds on a single charge, and the case is going to give you an additional 28 hours. If you are interested in checking out the Aura Halo G1s, I will have a link in the description. And again, I would like to thank Tal Aura for sponsoring today's video. So the first category, the first item we're going to talk about is my favorite portable DAC and portable amp. So if you have a phone and you like to use wired products, obviously, the headphone jack isn't really a part of phones anymore, but having a very small portable DAC or portable amp is really nice to have. And this year I found that I use the Crin-Ear Protocol Max quite a bit. This is just an $89 little dongle. It uses USB-C, so it plugs into pretty much any new phone that's out right now. And the sheer amount of power that it was able to give the different IEMs and the different headphones that I tested, I was very surprised for what it was doing for something that was this small. Now, the next thing is desktop amp. Now, had you asked me a few months ago, I would have easily said the FiiO K11, which I still recommend. It is a very nice, powerful desktop amp coming in at $142 right now. But I have found myself using the Q Style or Quest Style, I'm not really sure how you pronounce their name, the Sigma Pro. Now, this is a pretty badass little amp, or it's actually not little. It comes in at $900, so it is definitely pricey. But it's just a beast. It's something I'm able to use as a desktop amp, but also on the go. It's made to be able to be used both ways. It has Bluetooth built in, so you can kind of like piggyback off your phone's connection. It's giving you all of these different type of connections into the device itself, and I have found that it actually has a lot of value because of its versatility. But if you want something like this and you want something that's not as big as the Pro, they also offer a non-Pro version, which gets rid of the little LED screen that the Pro version has. It is slightly less powerful than the Pro, so there are some differences between both of these, but the regular version comes in at $550 and is probably going to appeal to more people, not only because of the price tag, but because it's also more portable than the Pro itself. But both are fantastic products that I highly recommend. Now, the next category is going to be IEM, or in-ear monitor. And this one's going to probably surprise people because it's not like a huge name, and that is the Fosi Audio IEM4. This one only comes in at $99, but it is an open back IEM that's just fun to use. It's fun to just pick up and listen with an IEM that has more open back characteristics. It doesn't sound as isolated or as closed in. It's pretty spacious, but still has some really nice punch to it. And I actually just felt like it worked really great across a lot of genres, so I just kept going back to using it. And $99, I think it's a hell of a value. Now, the next category is my favorite wired headphone, and that is going to be the Headphones D1. This one comes in at $799, and it just has beautiful sound. This is one of those, whenever you hear people say that I listened to something and it brought a tear to my eye, this is the kind of headphone that I feel like falls into that category. It just made me hear some things that you don't normally hear, and whatever it's doing with vocals is just amazing. I don't even know how to specifically point it out, but it's bringing out vocals and the detail in vocals in a way that it just kind of feels personal. And so that's why I found that the Headphones, and that's spelled HEDDPHONES D1, it's just been a fantastic set of headphones. So now getting into the categories that a lot of you guys are probably more interested in, and these are the different true wireless earbuds. And the first one we're going to talk about are the clip-on style earbuds, and this one has to go to the Shox Open Dots 1. This one has been out quite a while, but I still feel like it's the best premium clip-on style earbud out there. I think it's way better than the Bose. It already came in with a cheaper retail price at $199, but right now it's been sitting at around $139 through the holidays, but it just gives you a premium sound. It gives you a sound that's fairly similar to having just a regular pair of true wireless earbuds, but also still allowing you to be aware of your environment. And with having Dolby audio as well, that is a huge plus for those that like the spatial audio. So I still think that the Shox Open Dots 1 is the best when it comes to premium clip-on style earbuds. Now the next one is going to be my favorite just open ear earbuds, and this one still, again, this is a product that's been out for a little while, is gonna have to go to the Soundcore AeroFit 2s. And the main reason I'm recommending these now is because of the huge price drop. Now these came in originally at $129, and I already thought, even at that, they hit the nail on the head when it comes to sound, when it came to comfort. It just checked off all the boxes. But again, because of the holiday sales, this one's been sitting at around $69, and that just kind of makes it a no-brainer. I think this is an easy pair to recommend to just anybody. You can be aware of your surroundings. You can forget that you even have these things on your ears. And for this style of earbud, it actually has some nice punchy bass to it. It's a fun earbud to listen to, and it doesn't feel like you're sacrificing because you're using a product that's not just jammed into your ears. So I still think this is a great one, and that's why I had to recommend the Soundcore AeroFit 2s. Now the next one on the list is my favorite sport earbud. Now this one's gonna go to the Powerbeats Pro 2. And as much as people hate on Beats, and I've tested quite a bit of sport earbuds, I actually have not found anything better than the Powerbeats Pro 2. And I still feel like this is the best earbud in Apple's lineup. I think it's better than the AirPod Pros. I think it's better than regular AirPods. All of the other ones that are in the Beats lineup, I still feel like the Powerbeats Pro 2 just has something to the sound that makes it stand out amongst all of the other ones. Now, it does not have the noise canceling that the AirPod Pros have, so if you're in that ecosystem and you want the best noise canceling, just go ahead and go with the AirPod Pros. But for pure sound, and this is just going to be personal preference, I feel like the Powerbeats Pro 2 is just the better choice. And so the next category, we're going to go into just wireless headphones, like wireless noise canceling headphones, where a lot of people just automatically go and crown, the Sony XM6 or the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras, which are both great headphones. But for me personally, I found that the Cambridge Audio P100 SEs were the standouts this year. This is the pair that I went to the most. This is the pair that I felt had incredible noise canceling, but there was something about the tuning, which again, this is something that Cambridge Audio is very good at. They implemented that into this headphone, and the sound, in my opinion, beats out the XM6. It beats out the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultras, which I am a huge fan of the Bose, but the Cambridge Audio just has something special to it. There's something in that sound signature that makes them stand out, and being able to get them right now for $250 doesn't hurt either, because that is way less than the XM6 and the Quiet Comfort Ultras. And so the last one that I want to bring up, and this is, again, what the channel is mainly focused on, which is true wireless earbuds, just standard true wireless earbuds. This one is going to have to go to the Soundpeats H3. This is one that caught my attention in January, and then it came out, I believe, in June, and it's been my favorite since it was released. There's just something about the multiple drivers that they're using, the way that it's tuned, the way that it sounds great just across the board, no matter what I'm listening to. And in my opinion, it just kind of seems like an IEM that's disguised as a normal true wireless earbud. The sound signature in them does not sound like normal earbuds. It has a lot of characteristics of IEM, so it has kind of that reference, but at the same time, it pulls from having a fun sound like most true wireless earbuds. So it's just kind of blending everything, and I just enjoy using them. And I like the look of them, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the gold, but I like that you can see through and see the components, and I like that it has a unique look to it. So this has been the standout product for me this year, and the Soundpeats H3, especially right now being able to get them for $109, was a no-brainer to put right here as my favorite earbud. Now, the biggest surprise and some honorable mentions I do want to throw in real quick, the Moondrop old-fashioned headphones, the ones that we've talked about the last 2 videos. They're just like the old retro style, flat, foam ear pads, just looks like a cheap pair of headphones. I have absolutely loved using those, and I think they're like $25 or $30. An easy one to recommend, so I wanted to throw that one in. And then I'm also going to throw in a group. I think what Bassist did with their whole Inspire lineup by letting Bose tune those is something pretty special. It's basically kind of allowing people to have that Bose sound without always having to pay the Bose price tag. And Bassist come a long way since they first released their products. I've always been impressed, but I feel like they just kind of took like a huge leap forward this year. And I was very impressed with their whole Inspire lineup. So the headphones, the earbuds, and the clip-on earbuds were super impressive. And I'm excited to see kind of where they go from here. But guys, that wraps up my video on a lot of my favorite audio products that have come out this year. And it also kind of gives you an idea of the products that I actually use. These are ones I use personally. These are the ones, if anybody says, what amp are you using? Or what wireless headphone are you using? These are the ones that I always tell people, because these are the ones that I go back to the most. But guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.